This video has a simple premise. I'm going to show you lots of really nice tube stations, mostly. In today's Journey of the Month, I'm checking out a particularly pleasant portion from Acton Town to Uxbridge. In this episode I will receive my first international call-up, shake hands with the air, and learn how to deal with the menace that is leaves. And it's all in honour of one of the preeminent architects of London's transport network. And I mean architect quite literally. Please join me in wishing a very happy 150th birthday to Charles Holden, the designer of dozens of tube stations. This section of the Piccadilly line, commonly known as the Uxbridge branch, has previously been run by a combination of the Metropolitan and District Railways. But when the Piccadilly was extended westwards in the 1930s, beyond its original terminus at Hammersmith, most of the stations were rebuilt, including Acton Town, perhaps the archetypal Holden station. But Holden? Hold on! Who even was this guy? Holden was born in Bolton in May 1875, so yes, technically we've missed his birthday, but I don't think he's going to mind. His early works were inspired by the decorative and kind of twee arts and craft movements, such as this former children's hospital just down the road from Oval Station. Later, Charles met Frank Pick, general manager of the Underground Electric Railways Company of London. TfL is definitely a snappier name. Anyway, Pick was something of a guiding hand for the look and feel of the network that we still recognise today, from the typeface to the roundel to the architecture. He worked closely with Holden on developing a vision for the Piccadilly's new forays into West London. Influenced by the clean lines and simple forms of European modernism, what you're going to see a lot of in this video is the mighty brick box. Really high ceilings, windows letting in loads of natural light, and plenty of space for the circulation of air and passengers. Wait! I'm doing an episode about this section of the Piccadilly in autumn. But what about the mortal enemy of trains everywhere? Leaves falling. Whilst the sights, smells and sounds of autumn leaves bring joy to most of us, if you're running a railway, it'll make your blood run colder than the ground I'm lying on for some reason. I've come along to the Piccadilly depot at Cockfosters, where I definitely am, and the nearby office building Forestry House, which is its actual name, to speak to the team, very much in person, about how they combat this arboreal menace. So why are leaves such a problem for trains?
If you're braking too hard on the track and it's covered in leaves, the trains skid, and that's what causes flats on the wheels. It has a huge impact on our service. It causes defects on our trains, which means trains have to be taken out of service, which we really try to avoid.
What makes the Piccadilly line so susceptible?
We have quite a lot of open sections that are above ground, out in the open, full of trees, so we have to sometimes close part of our open sections to stop trains from getting defects. I'd say that's something that's particularly unique to the Piccadilly line.
And will this improve when new trains enter service?
We've got some new trains coming in, our new stock, so hopefully they will be less susceptible to the leaf fall by being newer trains, newer wheels, and the upgrades that are associated with that.
In the meantime, how can you mitigate those issues caused by the falling leaves?
And we change our timetables, especially between Uxbridge and Rayners Lane is quite often closed. It is serviced by other lines, so it means that the Piccadilly line can withdraw for a short time. We have people who go out every day who check different sections of the track to make sure there's been no build-up, and if there has been a build-up in that area, then we have special crews that go out to clear the area in a safe way. We have quite a lot of hands on deck who are trying to help mitigate the situation.
Thank you very much. It's a good job I wasn't at work or something whilst this shoot was going on, so I could have this very normal human interaction. Along with specialised leaf fall forecasts and just collecting as many leaves as possible from the track, one way to mitigate the problem is by employing rats. Sorry, rail adhesion trains, which at this time of year run daily. They apply a special gel to the tracks, helping the wheels stick to the rails. That sounds less like a rat and more like a slug to me. Stopping leaves affecting the underground. No, rat's better, isn't it? Back on the Piccadilly, the next stop north is Ealing Common, with its lesser spotted heptagonal ticket hall, very similar to the one at Hounslow West on the Heathrow branch. This is the last station shared by the District and the Piccadilly lines before they both go their separate ways. Oh, but it's okay, because they're both going to a place of Ealing. But whilst the District gets the mighty Ealing Broadway, the Piccadilly ends up in sleepy North Ealing. In part due to its proximity to West Acton on the Central Line, this is the least busy underground station entirely within Greater London. and it's the only station on this section up to Rayners Lane that wasn't rebuilt in the Holden style in the 1930s. As such, its reserved and rural vibe is an indication of what it might have felt like at these stations before the Piccadilly barged its way in. Unlike Park Royal. Now this is a station deserving of its regal connotations, and it's the only station on this branch to have the Holden hallmark of a nice big tower. I'm very fond of these because it really helps cement the station as the centre point of the local community. You can find other examples of the genre at Chiswick Park, Osterley or Boston Manor. But wait, Holden hallmark might be a bit of a red herring. You see, this station was designed by Felix Lander, and Osterley and Boston Manor were designed by Stanley Heaps, the Underground's in-house architect. What you can say at least is that Holden had heaps of influence. There are heritage signs dating from the short period when District Line trains ran to this station, which is why it's suggesting you could get to Victoria or Monument from platform 2. You also have one of the steepest gradients on a tube platform here. I mean, it's not steep, but you'd notice it if you were a marble. Wait, a marble's sentient? They're not sentient, are they? A short walk away from the gorgeous Park Royal station is Hanger Lane on the Central Line, which by comparison is a short walk away. Actually, I'm gonna go this way. Just up the track from Park Royal, there's an abandoned tube station. Park Royal and Twyford Abbey, all one name, once stood by this railway bridge. This area is sometimes known as West Twyford, but just to confuse you, it's 25 miles east of the Twyford you may be more familiar with, one stop from Reading on the Elizabeth line. When the Piccadilly took over the line to Uxbridge in the 1930s, this station was closed to make way for the new Park Royal station just down the track. There's nothing here today to tell you that there was ever a station here apart from me, so you're just gonna have to trust me, but I wouldn't lie to you. Everything I tell you is true. Oh, hang on. Phone call. Yes, hello. Oh, hi, Thomas Tuchel, England football manager. Oh, you need a goalkeeper at short notice. Okay, sure thing. I'll be right there. Okay. Oh, it's a good job Wembley's not too far away. Well, 4 stations after saying, ooh, there's loads of brick boxes. We're at our first brick box in a while. It's Alperton. This was once one of only 2 tube stations to have an escalator that actually escalated you up to a platform, as opposed to down. But now it's blocked off behind a brick wall. Let me know in the comments if you remember where the other station is that you have an escalator that takes you up to a platform. In the next couple of years, this one is going to be entirely removed and replaced by lifts, giving Alperton step-free access. Continuing our journey, Sudbury Town is one of Holden's finest works. Not only are we in the thick of box action, this station is actually the prototype for the other stations along the route. One element that wasn't more widely adopted is the use of this wedgier version of the classic Johnston typeface, which you'll only find here. The other... Wait, is that montage music? Sudbury Hill just doesn't reach the same heights. It's merely rather nice. Starting to get the feeling that Charles Holden might be the Michael Phelps of getting heritage plaques. South Harrow was at one point a terminus of the District Railway until it was extended to meet with the Metropolitan Railway at Rayners Lane. Frankly, I'm not convinced that I haven't been a district terminus at some point or other. I mean, it's not exactly an exclusive club. Pop round the corner or to the end of the eastbound platform and you'll see the original station building still standing, in a similar design to North Ealing, which we saw earlier. Rayners Lane is where the Piccadilly meets up with the Metropolitan. Don't tell the district that it's moved on so fast. A lot of the history of these suburbs is intrinsically linked to their stations. The Metropolitan Railway just built new stations in what was basically countryside and induced the demand for housing by doing so. The story of Metroland, as the marketing materials called it, basically warrants its own video, but the link between the railways and housing remains to this day. Bakerloo. Extension. Sorry, I had a frog in my throat. Let's do a quick fire round. Eastcote is our last brick box of the journey. Ruislip Manor. This station was rebuilt a few years after most of the others, and doesn't really have anything to do with Charles Holden, nor in fact do any of the next 3. Ruislip, a real charmer. Very quaint original station building still in place from the first station to have opened between Uxbridge and Harrow on the Hill. Ickenham, well, it's definitely a Piccadilly line station. And it's got lifts. Yippee! Hillingdon, a weird one, where most of the stations we've seen today have been modernist. This is more postmodern. Am I on the edge of my understanding when it comes to architectural terms? Yes, why do you ask? But what I do understand pretty well is my affection for Uxbridge Station. It might be my favourite tube station. I don't like committing too much to that, and on a different day I might say something else. I mean, it's all a joy really. You've got so much Art Deco loveliness, you've got the stained glass windows with the local heraldry, you've got the massive cavernous space that echoes Cockfosters at the other end of the line. As they say, Charles Holden was really cooking with this one. I hope you've enjoyed this journey of the month out on the Piccadilly line. It's been a real purists episode. The star of the show has been the stations today, and of course the man behind them, Mr. Charles Holden. See you next time.